Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome to another edition of Hockey Books and Storytellers with Teabag and Tone. This one for September 22nd. Holy cow, Tone. It's almost hockey season.
It's hard to believe it's September. It is incredibly hard to believe the summer's officially over.
Yeah, first day of fall. So uh, there, to me, there's two seasons. There's summer and hockey season. So, you know, um, now you work in the heat, right? In the summertime, you outdoors mostly. Like
24/7, rain or shine.
yeah, back in the day, when I was a teenager, preteen, and right up until probably till I was 35, like the hotter the better. You know, I'd be outside playing tennis or golf or any number of sports out in the heat. And yeah, and the hotter, I thrived in it. But now, man, it gets to like 21.5 degrees Celsius. And I'm like, it's too hot. I'm just dying. So I don't know how you guys do it out there in the sun.
It's a lot of water, and I mean even working when it gets up into high 20s and 30s for a few days, your body gets, and even going, if you went down to Arizona or you go down to Thailand, or your body starts to acclimatize,
Adjust.
adjust. A lot of A's today. So you get used to it, but don't put me in the category of being a Heat fan. That I'm a mid-20s with a breeze, or a high, like little higher than like 25, 26 with a breeze in the summertime is perfect for me.
Thank God our house is climate controlled. So it's like I come home and I just like pretty much just lay on the floor in the foyer. So cool. Yeah. Just want to touch on one thing before we get going. Last night I was at a reunion of sorts. I wrote about them in my book Hockey Nobody, that the first team I played for was the Burnaby Kings, and they merged with a team called the Burnaby Golden Bears. Well, the Burnaby Golden Bears, we have these reunions once a year, and so last night, uh, we had a bit of a party just down the road from me in Mission here, and if you remember in my book, I wrote about a guy named Ty Fitzsimmons, and he was a really good friend of mine, and I had met him when I was a kid. He was a friend of mine. I never spoke to him, but when we met as adults, we became pretty tight. But last night we got together, and his son was there, and I haven't seen his son since he was at Tyke. Like he was always at the rink, and he was so this is him. So this is Jordan.
Oh,
so Jordan, if you're watching,
what's up, Jordan?
It was great to see you last night, and man, what a fine young man you've become. So I'm sure your dad is smiling down and very proud of you. So keep
Jordan
up. He's got a WordPress account, Jordan Fitzsimmons at WordPress.org, something like that, and he writes poetry. So I checked it out last night. He's got some pretty heavy duty stuff on there. So yeah, it's if you want to check out, if you're into poetry, just have a look at it, because it's some really, really interesting stuff. So,
Jordan looks like a mucker in the corners too.
Yeah, he said he was. He said he was. He. We were talking about it. He said he was kind of a complete player. He had good speed. He had size. He could hit. He could score. So yeah, but he didn't want to play rep because he didn't click with that group. They were kind of out of his element a little bit. So he just played house. But apparently he was pretty good. So, but moving on, training camp start this week. Canucks signed a goalie, which kind of surprised me. I was kind of thinking that Demko was going to make it for the beginning of the season, but I guess not. So Kevin Lankinen last season played with Nashville. Good goalie. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with Silovs now. He's going to spend another year in Abbotsford.
Well, Demko's not going to. They haven't. I don't think they've said how long Demko's out, but he misses preseason and get into game action. I mean, they're going to go with those two, aren't they?
I would imagine, but it's a three goalie system never works, so somebody's got to go. And I don't know if Silovs has to clear waivers this year or not, so that's going to be a big question. But Lankinen is signed for 1 year, so
I don't think Silovs has to clear waivers. I think I think with I forget somebody was saying another
if he did.
fan.
If he did have to clear waivers, they probably wouldn't have signed Lankinen. So that's neither here nor there. Anything interesting happening in world of Oiler?
Look at us just being a couple of pseudo GMs figuring shit out on the fly like
that. Yeah. Mine's like steel traps. You know what? I did it last week. Last week was a boondoggle, and so anyway, producer, hit the intro. Yeah, what a boondoggle that was our last show. I forgot everything. It was like, man. So anyway, we got her done this week. So what's happening with the Oilers? They start their preseason tonight.
Yeah, I actually forget who they're playing against. I think the Jets.
Yes, the Jets.
It should be fun. I mean, I think those boys are ready to roll, and pardon me. An interesting bringing new bodies in the way they have, and guess who they brought into as a scout, pro scout. Played for both teams.
Halligan.
Risto Siltanen.
Oh, Risto Siltanen, the man who scored a goal while sitting on the bench.
What?
Did you ever hear? Yeah, you ever hear that story? Yeah, no. He rushed the puck up to center, flipped it up in the air, went to the bench, and he was on the bench when the puck hit the ice. The goalie lost it in the lights and went in behind him and in the goal. And he's sitting on the bench when it went in. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
this player,
he's joining the. What's he going to be, a European scout?
No, not Risto Siltanen. He's probably playing golf and in a rocking chair. I wonder if he's even alive. He'd be late 60s. I bet he would have been older than Rats.
Well, he played early 80s, I think. So yeah,
he's a forward. Hold on, don't rush. You're in a real rushing mood this week.
No, I'm
moving on. Keep it moving on. Moving on.
I'm relying.
Forward that played for both teams. Also played for Montreal. He came to Vancouver in a trade from Buffalo.
Really?
He was in the trade for Cody Hodgson.
Oh man. Played for both the Oilers and the Canucks.
Yeah.
And he was in the trade for Cody Hodgson.
And he took a pretty big suspension while playing for the Canucks in a game against the Oilers on Sam Gagner.
Wow. Holy cow, I should know this, but I don't. I'm drawing a blank.
Zach Kassian.
Zach Kassian. Wow. I almost forgot he was a Canuck for a while. Oh, yeah. Now there's a guy who kind of was able to resurrect his career after almost ruining it. Like he was on his last chance, like very last chance when he got to Edmonton, and then he was actually almost a folk hero there. He scored a couple of big goals in the playoffs for them, and he was very popular.
He got that first goal in 2016 and just lit the place up and set the place on fire. So good on him. Hopefully keeping straight and narrow.
Yeah. So Yeah, well, you don't hear about them in the news, so that's all. No news is good news. So, what else you want to talk about? You seen Alien yet?
No, I haven't actually seen a movie. Brock went and saw Transformers 1 last night. And where did dude? I guess you are way too old in any shape or form for Transformers from a being around it. Like I was in high school and Brock Transformers were that age group, but any affinity for Transformers?
No, my younger sister is 10 years younger than me. She watched
There you go.
Transformers, but no, I never did. But I watched the first few movies, and it was like watching a blender. Whenever the fight scenes were going on, you didn't know who was fighting who. Like it just was way too fast. I couldn't understand like who's doing what to who here. So yeah, no, I didn't get into the Transformers, but I work with a guy who's like he's got the Decepticon thing on his back window and all that. So yeah, no Transformers for me. Although I did like the movie. What was the yellow Volkswagen?
Bumblebee.
Bumblebee. Yes, I
Was a
like that
great
movie.
was a
That was a good.
great movie. And
Yeah.
an ode to generation the G1 first generation. And Brock gave it a big review. It's and the basis is how Megatron and Optimus were pals and worked together on Cybertron way back when. And it's kind of apparently the origins of how they were pals met, and I kind of sets it up for why they ended up being on. And Brock was absolutely thrilled with the movie, A minus, and
Mhm.
he's hated a bunch of the movies. Like on the in some of those movies, Optimus Prime is advocating to kill people. Like, and that's just
Yeah.
not Optimus Prime. But uh, I like that. How do you feel about reboots? Speaking of
Well, I
horror,
was just gonna say, so many of the movies coming out now are reboots or sequels. So there's no, not very many original ideas. And I just saw Deadpool and Wolverine. I saw it twice.
loved it.
So, oh, so many good one-liners. Like it just, it just, and Chris Evans makes a cameo that just knocks it out of the park. Like it's so good,
No
and there's
spoilers. No
no
spoilers.
spoilers on this, but there's a lot of good cameos, and yeah, but it's not like the first two. And if you don't get pretty deep into the Marvel universe, you might not understand some of it. So my advice would be to watch Loki, the TV series Loki. I think it's
Yeah,
only six or 12 episodes, 6 episodes, something like that. So
there's a couple
you'll
seasons.
yeah, you'll have a better understanding of it if you watch Loki. So yeah. So you got anything for? We got Doug Savage coming on. We interviewed him about. I interviewed him a couple weeks ago about his book, and we got into the nitty gritty of the stories and stuff. But the main story we left out because I wanted you to hear it firsthand without
I appreciate
any
that.
pre knowledge of it. So yeah. So when you're watching this interview, people watch Craig's reaction. It's pretty good. Like, so yeah, we got Doug Savage coming on. You got rapid fire. You want to do rapid fire?
Sure.
You ready for it? Okay, so we got to do an intro for rapid fire. I'll do an AI thing for the next thing. We'll put because this is pretty popular. People like this.
Oh,
So
a lot of clamoring in the comments for more rapid fire.
more, more rapid fire. Okay, so you got 5 seconds to answer. All right, each question, 10 questions. So you ready?
Yep.
Okay, question one. Who has sold more albums worldwide, the Backstreet Boys or the Beastie Boys?
Beastie Boys.
Backstreet Boys, 100 million to 50 million. Which country did Adolf Hitler invade, sparking the start of World War II?
Poland.
Good. Which of the 5 human senses are you improving if you get a cochlear implant?
Sight.
Hearing.
Oh,
How
hearing.
many seconds?
Sorry.
How many? I'll give you a few seconds to do the math in your head, but how many seconds in an hour?
360.
Oh, close. 3,600.
3,600.
Doug Bennett was the lead singer for which local rock band?
DOA?
Doug and the Slugs. When MTV launched, what was the first song video played?
Oh, pass. It's right there. I actually
Video
just
killed the radio star by
Radio
the
Star.
Buggles.
Right.
Bonus point if you know what the second song was.
Nope.
Hit Me With Your Best Shot by Pat Benatar. Guy Lafleur retired in 1985, having played his entire career with the Montreal Canadiens. He came out of retirement 3 seasons later. Which team did he sign for? New York Rangers, right? In the TV show The Wire, Idris Elba plays what character?
Stringer Bell.
In the original movie Alien with Sigourney Weaver, what was the cat's name?
Don't know.
Jonesy. Who is the Edmonton Oilers' career leader in penalty minutes?
Semenko.
Luckberger, 1747. Oh, you're 0 for 2 on the Oilers stuff. So, right. Well, your camera kicked out.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What's up there?
I can only hear you.
Why. Hold on.
Oh, lost you totally now. Now you made me go solo, you son of a bitch. No, I'm going to talk about the book of the week since you're not here. I'll see if we can get Tone back here. But the book of the week is by author Steve Gans. He wrote Israfel Rising. That's not a typo. Israfel is a character in Edgar Allan Poe's writing. So Israfel Rising, it's about a serial killer. And he also wrote the sequel, Israfel Fallen. Both excellent books. We got Tone back. Hey, where'd you go? Do you have to go to the bathroom or something?
Thick hands.
So I'm just talking about the book of the week. So this guy, he lives in Florida, and he wrote these 2 books, Israfel Rising and Israfel Fallen, which about a serial killer. And it has a character in there, a female character named Sullivan, who is just priceless. She comes up with these great lines and insults and stuff, and she's very prickly, and it's really fun to watch to read. Anyway, he's got a new book out. Well, it's been out about 6 months now. The 8 Legs of the Devil, and I haven't read it yet, but it's got the same character in it, the Sullivan character. So, I'm anxious to get to it. I've just got my to be read list is a mile long, so I'm working my way through. So
nice.
That's the book of the week. You got music?
I do. Up on my right there. I might have had it as music of the week, but in honor of the new documentary, the Tragically Hip documentary on Prime, Little Saskadelphia. Do you have Prime?
Yes, I do, and I'm going to watch that tonight.
Bring the tissues.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah. So, have you watched it?
No, I'm gonna wait till I have like a proper runway for it and just dig right
watch it back to back. 4 episodes, right?
Yeah, I figured I'd have I'd be The Wire-esque with it and just watch it right through.
Yeah. I was the same with The Wire.
Yeah, I think I lent you The Wire.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you were the one who turned me on to it. Yeah. So
what a series. Did you ever watch West Wing?
No.
Okay.
That kind of abruptly stops that. Eh? So.
They just had their it was an Aaron Sorkin written series, and they just had their 30th anniversary of it.
Yeah, Martin Sheen and Allison Janney. Yeah, so.
And one more new release.
Oh, I learned to count. Oh, Sesame Street.
It's a new Retro Kid drop that was last week. So
nice.
Shout out to Retro Kid.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing else. We're going to get to the Doug Savage interview. You ready for it?
Yeah, it's good stuff. Enjoy, folks.
Yeah, enjoy. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay.
Sounds good. Talk to you. Love you.
Love you too, buddy. Welcome back, everybody. This week's special guest is none other than Doug Savage, who's written a book called My New Hero. We've interviewed him before, and he has a great story about Wayne Gretzky that we want to talk to him about. So, without further ado, let's bring him on. Doug Savage, welcome to the show again.
Thanks for having me, Jerry.
Great nice to meet you, bud.
Nice to meet you too there, bud.
It's just nice having we'll find out, but a fellow Oiler fan. I'm assuming you're a bit of an Oiler fan anyway.
Well, I am when they're in the finals and going for a Stanley Cup run, and I was whenever the Jets got knocked out in the 80s. But other than that, I'm a loyal Jets fan.
Attaboy. I got all the time in the world for Jets fans. All the time.
Well,
big
good.
Fan. Not so much the Canucks fans.
I didn't know you liked the Jets.
Oh, I mean the Jets WHA were always one of the they were always one of the good guys. And I mean Jets fans are they're easier to put up with than Canuck fans. You might be the exception, Teabag.
Well, storied history of the Winnipeg Jets and the WHA. They used to walk on the Oilers, right, Doug?
That's right.
Yeah.
They won their last APCO Cup against the Oilers, and that kind of flipped the switch on the Jets, I think. And ever since then, Gretzky had a vendetta against the Jets, is my opinion on that one.
There was one year we had a big comeback against you. We were down 3-1.
Yeah, Dave Ellett scored the overtime goal.
That was in the 1990s, the last time the Oilers won the Cup.
Right.
Yeah, Dave Ellett scored the overtime goal to put Winnipeg up 3-1, and then the Oilers came storming back. I remember that. So I'm going to ask the first question.
The official said the stupidest thing, that the series was over, and the Oilers heard about that, and they rallied and they won 3 straight.
Yeah.
Bulletin
I'm going to
board.
ask the first question here. Who is this gentleman?
That's my co-author, Mr. John Davison, the late John. That's at Sean Chalk's house in 2018 when John went up there to visit him. And that's Sean's vast collection of his game-worn Gretzky jerseys. And I think there's a Glenn Anderson in there. And, that's basically his basement.
Yeah, I see he's got some Arizona Coyotes, Rangers, Detroit. Quite the collection.
Yeah, well, that one, Arizona, that one that says 66 Chalk on it, that was when Sean Chalk went up to
Gretzky's camp.
For the Gretzky fantasy camp, and he played with Gretzky on his line. And there's Sean there with John in his basement again.
That's awesome. My younger brother almost went a couple times. Totally regrets not going.
Oh, it's they don't have it. I was just talking to Sean the other day on a podcast. They said they don't have it anymore. They still have a charity event, but as far as Wayne going to that event, he doesn't do it anymore.
No.
Once in a lifetime, Sean says. They treat you like you're in the show, and they give you everything. They pick you up at the airport, bring you in a limo, bring you to your hotel. The fridge is stocked, and you go in and you go to all the massage therapy, and they treat you like a NHL player.
It was, I think last it was about 18 grand US.
Yeah,
might have been over 20.
Yeah,
near the end there.
Quite expensive.
Yeah, they get full gear, and the only thing that you don't know ahead of time what team he's going to roll with, and I mean, as lifelong Oiler fans, it would have been tough to walk into a St. Louis year.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Sean got to play with Wayne, and I wish I had some photos that I should have sent you when I was authenticating my stick that he found. He sent me pictures of Wayne telling him to get to the net, and he signed them, and I wish I would have had those for the show.
Nice. What was the What was
Get
the
to the net.
what was the door in that picture? Was that from a locker room door from the
I'm not
Coliseum?
quite sure on the significance of that. It might have been an Oilers door from the dressing room. I'll ask Sean next time, and I'll have that information for you on the next show.
Back they did a hockey auctions. Oh shoot, it was, oh gosh, it might have been 7 or 8 years ago. And in the Oilers room, they had a wooden carved out Oilers sign, and it was quite big. Like it was probably 3 or 4 feet wide in diameter, and went up for auction, and it sold for just under $800. And it's one of
Wow.
those. It's one of those things that, if you hindsight, I mean, when it was up for sale, $800 was a lot more. It was still a lot of money. It was a lot of money back then. But in hindsight, would you pay $800 cash for that thing right now? In a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, kicking yourself for that one. Knowing Sean, that probably was part of the Oilers dressing room at some point.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
So you
That's
got quite
quite a collection.
And speaking of collections, you've got quite a story, I hear.
In what regards?
Well, I've heard about.
Sticks?
Yeah, I can't wait to get into this.
I've got 2 sticks from Wayne, and I have the one that's behind me right now. That was the second stick that he gave me. I used to have a really big collection in the 90s, but I ended up selling it all, and I'm kicking myself for that one. I had 15, 16 Gretzky rookies, and I sold them in the 90s when I had a sports card show. And I mean, I got top dollar for them back then, but I had 1 or 2 in there that would have gotten me at least $500,000 today.
Wow.
Yeah, they were mint condition, perfectly centered, probably a 9, 9.5 on the scale of being authenticated.
Wow.
So let's go back to where you and the Rink Rats, you hated Gretzky, right?
Yeah, we had a dislike for him, like most people in the league, if you weren't an Oilers fan. Ours was more what the fans would do. They would boo him every time. You know, he would be at the referees, and because he was killing us on the ice. But we didn't really like him more for the fact that we just could never catch up to him. We couldn't get his autograph. Other than my walk with him, we used to walk with the Oilers to the arena during game days from the Vicon Gord Hotel in Winnipeg. After the walk, we seemed to be able to know more of where they were coming and where they were going after I discovered and walked with Gretzky from the arena to the Vicon Gord Hotel. The gig was kind of up where they were staying, and after that, we always walked with Gretzky in the group.
How old are you?
I was 14 when I walked with him for 40 minutes. It was about a 1.5 mile walk, and the beauty of that walk is it was just me and Wayne alone. Usually Wayne, because of fear of being whatever in cities and stuff like that, him being in Winnipeg, I guess he felt safe. It was a warm, sunny spring day, and he just didn't get on the bus, and he just turned around and started walking away, and I ran up and caught up to him, and he had no security, no other players. Whenever we walked with him after the walk, there was always Messier, Semenko, Kevin Lowe, Lee Fogelin in that group. But with Wayne, it was just me and him for 40 minutes.
And I no doubt that 99 was pleasurable. And were you guys chatting?
Yeah, we chatted the whole way. There wasn't a dull moment in the conversation. It started out with me introducing myself. I told him my name is Douglas, and his middle name is Douglas. He said it was nice to meet you. And then I told him that we had the same birthdays, January 26th, which he thought was a really neat coincidence. And he, I don't know if he believed me at first, but he said that was quite the ironic incident.
You know, Gretz then, Gretz today, and any time in between. Is there a more hospitable fella that loves to talk hockey more than Wanderful?
No, I don't think so. And it's more of what he's off the ice. And that's why he became my hero, is how humble he was. I was drilling him about all his records and all his stats. first thing I said to him is I complimented him on scoring 50 goals in 39 games a year before, and he shrugged his shoulders and he humbly changed the subject. And then I came back at him again, and I referred to his 215 points. And again, he shrugged his shoulders and he would say, oh, it's his teammates deserve most of the credit for that. And I think that was more of why he became my hero, on how down to earth he was. You wouldn't have thought he was the greatest athlete on the planet at the time and smashing records. And yeah, he was so humble. It was hard to believe.
I was at the my only game claim to fame is I was at that 50 and 39 game.
Oh, wow. That must have been quite the night.
Oh, it was. I mean, it's become more special, but I mean, I didn't think much about it as you're. I mean, I was. What was that? 83. 80.
Might have even been early. It might have been the 82 year.
Yeah, and
I got to say that 37 of those goals were into an empty net, so
probably
count.
a few of them. Well, the 50th was into an empty net.
Oh my God!
Go ahead.
Doug Barber, that hole, and then the Doug Barber coming around and losing his balance, and then Mess sliding into him, and
yeah. Billy Barber, he tried to stop him, and Wayne knew as soon as he crossed that red line that puck was going in the net, and he actually told Kevin Lowe that morning that he thought he was going to score 5 that game, and he called it.
That's great.
Well, that's a record that will never be broken because of all the Gretzky's records, that one will never ever. No one will ever even get close.
No, I mean the 50 and 50 is something to be beholden. 50 and 39. I mean that was his 92 goal season, and the funny thing about that season is his last 7 to 10 games, I don't think he scored very many goals. He might have had 1 or 2, so he started to slow down as the season wore on.
That 92, I don't. That won't be broken in my lifetime either.
No, I don't think that record will ever be touched.
Yeah. So tell the story of how you got the first Gretzky stick.
Well, just one sec, Doug. Teabag, are you tired of talking about Wonderful and all the glory of Edmonton? You just want to keep moving on. You keep we're in our element here, and you can't wait to push us along here. This is interesting.
Well, we've only got a half an hour. So
all right. Well, the first stick I got from Wayne, we were probably about 5 minutes away from his hotel. I didn't know where he was going. I had no idea where he was walking at the time. And he gave me a piece of advice before our walk ended. He told me the most important things, because I had told him that I had switched over from playing hockey after we won a city championship to playing football. And he just said to me, he goes, you know what, Douglas, he goes, the most important things is as long as you're having fun and to enjoy it. And that's the most important thing. And then he said to me, he goes, tomorrow, if we win the game, you can have my game stick. And that's when I had no pen on me. I wasn't even really concerned about getting an autograph from Wayne, even though I had never gotten one from him. But after he said, you can have my game stick tomorrow, but only on one condition. And that condition is if we win. So if they didn't win the game, I wasn't getting that stick. And I don't know why he said that to me. I would like to ask him that question one day. I don't know if it was his striving for excellence and that he wouldn't be in a given mood, but he reiterated that about 2 or 3 times. And even when I walked into the hotel with him and we shook hands, and Wayne said it was a pleasure to share our passion. And as he walked away, I said to him, are you sure you're going to give me that stick? And he smiled at me and said, only if we win, Douglas. And then he walked away, and that was it.
You know what, Wayne probably, in his brain, he probably might have done some math and went, how much more special would that be to that kid, to Douglas, if I give him a stick that we won? Like a game used is one thing, but a game that they won. He probably did that quick math in his head too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I don't know what he was getting up to, but I went to 2 playoff games and I got 2 of his elimination playoff sticks. So that was a pretty good feat. And going to school, my friends did not believe me, and he put me in a curious pickle because when I went to school and told them that I had just walked with Wayne Gretzky without security, and he actually promised me a stick, they didn't believe a word of it. And if he wouldn't have won that game, this story would have just been, he's just lying about the walk. That walk never happened. And good thing for the Oilers and for me, they actually won that game. And the irony is, Ken Linsman, a.k.a. the Rat, scored the winning goal with about 1:31 left.
And so,
so Winnipeg pulls their goalie, right, and then tries to score, and you're rooting against your own home team?
I was secretly cheering against my own team. I didn't really burst out when Edmonton scored. I do remember that we were sitting up so high that during the national anthem, all I could see was Gretzky rocking back and forth at center ice. And when the Oilers had taken the lead, me and my friend Jamie, he said, okay, let's go. When we scooted down the stairs, he said, let's go get your stick and see if your story is true. And as I was coming through the tunnel towards the seats in the lower bowl, I heard the crowd erupt, what I knew was only a Winnipeg Jets goal because it had a certain sound to it and a reverberation through the arena. And I just thought, oh no, the Jets just tied it up, and it was 3-3. And then as we were sneaking down to close to the Oilers bench, we finally got a seat close to where I was eventually going to be, where he came through the tunnel. We had told the season ticket holders there about my walk, and they promised us to give up their seats in the last little bit so I'd have a chance. And then Ken Linsman scored.
A Canuck season ticket holder would not have done that. For the record.
No.
Well, that's the thing. Doug wasn't a season ticket holder. He snuck into the
we
arena.
were season sneaker inners. But the people that gave up their seats, they used to routinely give up their seats to us, and they would go sit in other seats because theirs were right near the bench. And their last name was Gauthier, and I saw their daughter once outside of the Roxy in 1990, and she looked at me and she goes, "Are you from Winnipeg?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "I saw you get your 2 Gretzky sticks." She was the daughter of the couple that used to give us their seat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she saw me as a little rink rat getting my 2 sticks, and that was kind of cool. It's in the book.
That's great.
Okay, so how did Gretzky hand you the stick?
They went off to congratulate the goalies. I was standing there with my buddy Jamie, and as he came through the bench, he had a big smile on his face, and he recognized me right away, and he planted the stick in my hand firmly to make sure, because there was probably about 10 other kids around there. And he scooted off, and my buddy Jamie looked at me and says, "Well, I guess your story is true." And I said, "Yeah, I've been trying to tell you that all day."
Yeah, baby. That's fun.
Okay, so you got any questions, Tone?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so
no, I don't have any. No, of course I do.
I'll just add to that.
Of course I do.
I want you to tell Tone exactly how long you had that stick.
I had that stick for 6 months. Well, after that game, Gretzky snuck out of the building. We don't even know how he got out this time because he had 2 or 3 ways of getting out. And I had to wait for the next year to get it signed at the first exhibition game. I went by myself because none of the Rink Rats would go with me. And it was a rainstorm that day, and I had to wrap the stick in paper bags. And I had a trainer take it from me during the pregame warm-up, and he took it into the dressing room, and Wayne had signed it to Doug Best Wishes, Wayne Gretzky. The thing is my Sharpie got wet, and it took about 3 or 4 minutes for them to bring the stick back, and I didn't know why. And I forgot that he had signed it in 2 different Sharpies because mine was wet. So he started the to Doug with my Sharpie, and then he had to find another Sharpie to finish it up. So when you look at that autograph, you'll see it to Doug is in a kind of faded signature. So he had to find another pen and finished up the Best Wishes Wayne Gretzky 99 under it.
Jeez.
So how long did you have it?
I had that for 2 months after. I think that was in probably because they started exhibition early then. Might have been September 15th. it sat on my wall for 2 months until I came home and discovered it was stolen from my brother.
From your room?
From my room, off my bedroom wall. It was taken and sold to the A and B and D card collectors that I used to sell my sticks to. And I contacted him 2 days later, and he said he had already sold it.
Hold on. So somebody broke in. So I'm assuming your room in your family home, somebody broke in.
His brother.
No, it was my brother that stole my stick.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
But there's a happy ending to that story.
Oh no, let's not get there yet.
Hold on.
Imagine
totally different. It's that if I wouldn't have had that taken from me, I probably would never have gotten a second stick because I wouldn't have been in such an urgency to get another stick. And that's when I met Wayne again to be able to get that stick signed. And when I told him about what happened to the stick, he said he was glad he gave me that second stick. So there's a happy ending in a lot of different ways.
So what's the age difference? How old are you, and what's the age difference with your brother?
6 years of you wouldn't have no chance of beating him up.
He's older.
He's older by 6 years, so there wasn't anything I could have done about it.
And how old were you at the time?
I was 14.
Son of a bitch.
I was mad for that whole winter. He gave me an Islander jersey, and he's always given me a jersey almost every year since that incident.
As penance.
That's
so,
right.
Tone, let me ask you if your older brother had stolen your signed game used Gretzky stick off of your wall in your bedroom and sold it, what would you have done?
His room would have been trashed. Like absolutely went ballistic. And actually, Dennis would have lost his mind too.
Dennis is his dad, so yeah, Dennis would have boxed his ears. Yeah, so let's continue the story. So you got the second.
Hold on, I want a little more brother thing. So all of a sudden, you get home. When do you notice that the stick is gone?
Right after school, when I went home into my bedroom to change and go out to play ball hockey, first thing I noticed was my stick was missing, and I ran over to Carlisle's house, and he told me I was absolutely vibrational, that I couldn't believe that my brother had done that, and he couldn't have believed that my brother had done that. And
when you say Carlisle, Randy?
No,
that's my buddy Carlisle Teddy. He's my Rink Rat buddy. He
right. Sorry.
From me.
I'm still incredibly angry. My processing is so. You come back from Carlisle's. What? You go find your brother? Like, how quick did you think that he did it?
I don't really remember. Oh, I knew right away. I profiled him right away. I knew he had taken it, and I really don't know what that conversation was like. I have no recall of that. All I know is that I was mad at him for that entire season. As that season went on, I had tried to get Wayne's stick 2 or 3 times during a regular season game, and he just scooted by. It was almost like the walk didn't happen, and I actually thought for a while I had a special rapport with Wayne, but it was just like before the walk, it was like he didn't exist, up until, as fate would have it, the Jets were playing the Oilers again in Game 3 in the same situation, and this time I didn't have the walk with Wayne, but lightning was going to strike twice. And almost to the day, 1 year later, as the Oilers were coming off the ice, they went and congratulated Grant Fuhr, and they were coming off. There was a bottleneck of players, and I could see Wayne looking into the stands like he wanted to give his stick away. So I jumped up onto the glass, something you couldn't do today, and I was almost face to face with him. And I said, "Wayne, can I please have your stick?" And he came right over to me, and I don't know if he recognized me, planted the stick in my hand, and I turned around, and at this game I was with Carlisle, and I turned around, and Carlisle had this look on his face, and he says, "I can't believe you got another one." So I went to 2 playoff games, and I got 2 Wayne Gretzky elimination game sticks. So that was the topper on the first one being stolen. And after that game, we had hung around the arena, and my buddy Carlisle, the older kids, were trying to steal it off of us. And Carlisle took the stick and was swinging it over his head, trying to fend him off. And if it wasn't for his actions that night, I probably would have lost that stick too.
Wow. How much did your brother sell it for?
I actually got to talk to the owner of AB&D Cards. He says that he vaguely remembered buying that stick. He said he would have paid $60 for it and sold it for $100. And today it's probably worth anywhere from $3 to $5. And the person that bought it, if he knew the significance of it, it would probably be worth a lot more. And he does know the significance of it because I sent him a copy of the book.
Wow. Were your parents choked at your brother?
Well, my mom, she was disappointed in what he had done. And she said to me, she goes, keep trying. Maybe you'll get another stick from Wayne. You had to walk with him anyways. And it was really, that was the most important thing. That piece of wood was important to me, but it was more the way Wayne had changed my opinion of him and how he became my hero. That was the underlining tone that I took from that whole experience. It was what he did to me. So when I got that second stick, he was sneaking out again, and we caught up to him at the double ramp doors. He was jumping into his limousine. And just as Wayne was about to slam the door, I said, Wayne, can you please sign your stick? And he quickly grabbed it out of my hand with his Sharpie pen. And as he was signing it really quickly, I said to him, thank you for the stick last year and for the walk. And he goes, oh, that was you. Now you have 2 of my sticks. I said, no, Mr. Gretzky. My older brother stole the other one from me. And he almost seemed like he was a little upset about that. And he said to me, I'm really glad that I gave you this stick because of what I just told him. So he was happy that he gave that stick to me. I was happy that I got to finally thank him. And he closed the door. He said to us to get home safely. He closed the door, and that was the last time I ever seen him.
Wow. That's so good. Wow.
So that's the second Gretzky stick that's behind you, right?
That's the second stick that's in the case behind me. That was the date stamp
how did
on
he sign
it. He signed it
How did
just
he sign it?
on the yellow part before it goes down to the blade. On the white part of underneath the Titan, there's a small little spot there. And he placed it in the perfect spot, Wayne Gretzky, but he didn't sign it to Doug. I didn't ask him for a personal autograph on it because he was kind of in a hurry. I wish I would have had the fortitude to say to him, could you personally sign it to me? But he was in a hurry, and I wanted to get out of there. It was like basically midnight at this point because they always played late games in Winnipeg, and I regretted not getting a personal signed autograph, but the fact that I got to thank him and tell him he was my new hero, and he actually thanked me for saying that he had become my new hero.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's let Craig in on the good news, what you found out lately.
Well, I wrote 4 books, and my dream was always to recover that stick. I knew that it was always going to be out there. And Sean Chalk, who John, my co-author, contacted him 10 years ago to see if he had my stick in his collection. And Sean went and checked. He's had 400 Gretzky sticks go through his hands. Wow. And he said, well, you know what? He goes, that stick is going to resurface one day. He goes, I have a really big contact of Gretzky people. And John even told me before he passed away, he says, if anybody's going to find your stick, Sean was going to be the one to find it. And of all days on Canada Day, he texted me at noon and asked me what it was signed to and what date stamp was on the back of it. So I told him it was signed to Doug, best wishes, Wayne Gretzky. And the date stamp, I knew it was a week before my birthday. So he figured around January 20th, and sure enough, he sent him this guy, and of all people to buy my Gretzky stick. The guy's name is a collector from Newfoundland. His name is Doug. Wow. So he contacted Sean to see if he knew how to get the name to Doug off the stick, because he didn't want that name on it because it wasn't his stick. So when Sean heard, to Doug best wishes, the gear started turning in his mind, and he started thinking, oh my God, I think this is his stick. So when he sent them the pictures, and after I confirmed to him, Sean says, I think we found your stick, buddy. 41 years later, 14,499 days later, I know where my stick is.
So the guy is in Newfoundland, and he's a memorabilia collector?
He's a big-time memorabilia collector. His name is Doug. I don't know his last name. He's a really good personal friend of Sean's, and Sean had one of those aha moments in the collector's world that, he finally found my dream and what the book was written for. It was written for that stick and to tell my story of how I walked with Wayne, but he was quite shocked that we found it and very happy.
And was that just this last July Canada Day, or how long ago did that happen?
It was this past Canada Day. So about 2.5 months ago, it was found on Canada. Of all days to find my Gretzky stick, it was on Canada Day, and that was the best Canada Day I've ever had.
Wow.
About serendipity, eh? So,
yeah, exactly.
Now, are there any plans for you to get that stick back?
We're in negotiations right now. The gentleman said that he wasn't in any hurry to sell it, but Sean reaffirmed to me last time I was on a Zoom call with him that we're going to get your stick back. So if Sean says that, you could take it to the bank.
Okay, no judgments here. I mean, I'm not judging the guy, but for my own personal sake, if it was me who got that stick, I would just give it back to you, knowing that it was stolen from you. Like, I couldn't, in good conscience, keep it. What about you, Tone? Am I wrong in this?
Oh, that'd be pay for shipping, and I'll send it out tomorrow.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, I don't expect it to be given back to me. A couple of my friends from Winnipeg have said the exact same things that you've said, and I don't expect to have him give it back to me. I would be just grateful that he decides to sell it to me, and I could be reunited with that stick, because it's a priceless part of my childhood, and I've been searching for 41 years for it.
Well, and I agree with you. I would have that same. I wouldn't expect him. If I was you, I agree with you. I wouldn't expect him to give me the stick, but if I had the stick, I would give you this. I would get that back to you just for the pure heartness and the joy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the provenance.
Yes.
Yes. That alone would just I wouldn't feel right having that in my collection. Like if that's where it should be, is in with you.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that. I would give the stick back myself personally if that was in my collection and I had it and somebody was been looking for that stick for 41 years and it was stolen. I would probably just give it back to him too. And like I said, that's a very valuable stick. It's anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000. So
wow.
We'll see how it goes. And at the very least, I know where it is. I know eventually one day I'm going to have it. And maybe that day I'll go to Sean's house and I'll meet him and he'll hand me my Gretzky stick.
Wow.
You have to do me a favor, Doug.
Yes, Jerry?
When you get the stick back, I want you to slash your brother's hands with it.
Yes.
Break a knuckle. Break
the stick, though. He's got pretty strong hands and knuckles.
That doesn't matter. He deserves a slash for that.
Yeah, well, you know what? When he was the first one I phoned to tell him when I had found out on Canada Day. I phoned him and I said, you know what, bro? I know where my stick is. And he was the happiest guy I think that could ever be around, for the sake that I finally found it and he doesn't have to have that over his head anymore that he sold my stick. And
so he does have a conscience. He feels guilty about it.
Yes, he does. I've never really held a grudge against him other than that winter I was mad at him. I know in my book I say I was mad at him for more than 10 years because he didn't apologize, but that was taken out of context. He did apologize after the fact, and I was only mad for that winter up until I got my second stick, and then I wasn't mad anymore.
Yeah, just as a side note, Tone, Doug had a Guy Lafleur game stick, and he used it to play. He used it to play road hockey.
2 years out of it.
We had we went to an Oilers practice, and there was a fella, Dan Fahey, was the PR manager for the Oilers when they won the Cup in '84. So we had a nice little connect there and got to see all the trophies, and we got a Wayne Gretzky signed 8x10, and we went to one of the practices and ended up grabbing a bunch of the broken sticks out of the penalty box. We got a Moog, we got a Fuhr. I think there was a coffee, and they also arranged skeets and stuff and would have some sticks. And I've still got those. Like, we glued the goaltender sticks back together, and then we used them with the old Cooper leather pads that we had. And there was a fellow that grabbed. So we got I forget who's. I think it was Coffee's 50-30 the PMP, and he grabbed it out of one of our rooms, and my brother and I just lost our shit on him.
Yeah, that was he used the Sherwood. I remember him using that stick, and it's funny because I always thought there was a team rule for the Oilers, and they didn't give away sticks. The only one that gave away sticks that I ever saw was Wayne, the one he promised me, and then the second stick. But apparently Wayne bought 700 sticks a year to give out of his own pocket. That's the kind of guy he was. And I don't know if it was the Oilers owner, Pocklington, that told the Oilers you weren't allowed to give away sticks. But I know that in '85, when they swept us again in 4 straight games, I went to try and get that third stick in a row from Gretzky. And I think the only thing that stopped me from getting that stick is he had just tied his NHL record of 7 points in that game. It's my favorite goal game where he had 7 points, 3 goals, and 4 assists. And when he went by me, he had a look of joy on his face, but he wasn't giving that stick away. That was going into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Do you recall if Wayne ever used Coho sticks?
I don't know
Off
if he ever used Coho. He might have used it in his first year. All I remember is him using the Titan TPM. I know Sean Chalk had some sticks from Wayne when he was playing with the Indianapolis Racers and when he was playing for the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. I know that he had some of his sticks in his collection, but I'm not sure if they were Sherwood or whatnot.
Can you ask him if he knows if Wayne ever used Coho sticks? Because in that same period of time, I got a stick, and Wayne just signed just signed it, but it's on a Coho. And I mean, the other thing is that signature, it was done in like ballpoint pen, not this is early '80s kind of thing.
Oh,
but
okay.
so that signature is barely noticeable now. But I've if next time you chat with him or send him a text, ask him if Gretz ever used Cohos.
I definitely will. I just wrote that down right now, and it's unfortunately it's in ballpoint pen because it would start fading. The good thing about my both of my sticks, it was in Sharpie pens, and it looks exactly the same as when he signed it.
That's so good. I love it. What a great story, Doug.
Thank
love
you.
it.
Can you just tell us quickly the story behind this jersey?
That jersey. Sean doesn't have it in his collection anymore. It was worth $500,000 US when he sold it a few years back. That was the jersey I had snuck into the Oilers dressing room one day. I walked around the arena and it was completely locked up, the building. There was no stick boys or anybody in the dressing room. I walked into the Oilers dressing room and all their equipment was so nicely laid out. I was standing in front of Gretzky's stall. It was like a magnet had drawn me there. And I was staring up at that jersey, salivating. And as Sean Chalk was reading our story in the manuscript before it was published, my friend John drove to Edmonton, and Sean Chalk drove from Fort McMurray to Edmonton to read my manuscript because he was intrigued about a boy's walk with Wayne Gretzky. And when he was reading the story, he goes, I think I have this jersey in my basement, because he was putting the timeline together. He goes, phone Doug and find out what time it was. And he phoned me, and I figured it was the 81-82 season when I had snuck into the dressing room. And he says, I have that jersey in my basement. I'm going to supply you with a picture for your book.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was a Sandow jersey. The next year he went to Nike because he couldn't tuck in the Nike because of the NHL rule. And he tucked it in on the other side. So they went to the Nike so he could tuck it in and be able to still not see the Nike, but tuck it in.
Yeah, it's pretty special to have those kind of stories, Doug, and have those kind of pieces.
Yeah, they really are. And I was lucky and fortunate enough to be able to have walked with Wayne. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. To write my book and my memoirs, that was another great opportunity, and to find my stick. And now my only goal is to maybe meet Wayne one day and maybe have me share the book with him.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, Doug, tonight. Like, what a treat. What a treat.
You're very welcome.
I just end on this note. Don't call him Wonderful anymore. It's just
suck it up.
I never did. I always just called him Mr. Gretzky.
Anyway, thanks again, Doug, for coming on the show.
You're very welcome,
really
Jerry.
appreciate your time.
And hopefully I'll be back.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you update, you said you're going to update the book. Definitely, I would like a copy. I'll pay handsomely for it. All
right.
Yeah,
Maybe
my new hero.
You can help me update that.
Yeah, my new hero, Memories of the Rink Rats. So the best thing about this book is it's got my quote on the back.
That's right. Nice to meet you, Tone.
You bet,
talking to you about the Oilers. Good luck this year. I hope you guys bring a Stanley Cup home to Canada.
Yeah,
let's hope.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, yeah. And Messier, don't ever Messier to a Vancouver fan.
Teabag, it's an all oil. Suck it up.
He's being outnumbered today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm outnumbered today. So
interrupting our flow, and we're like just digging in deep to vintage childhood memories. And I've got a question.
I'm Jerry Butler. Okay, I'm like this is the one who shut Gretzky down. So.
Good night, fellas.
All right, Doug. Thanks a lot.
Guys.
We'll,
take care.
I'm sure we'll be seeing you again down the road. Thank you much.
You betcha, Jerry. We're still going to go and have that coffee and get a copy of your book.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got her. So that's
all right, fellas. Have a great night.
We'll do that soon. See ya.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.